Welcome back to the 25 days of mindful movement. We're on day 3 and today is all about flexibility and core. I'm Isabel Wellman, personal trainer and yoga teacher. All you'll need for today's practice is a yoga mat if you have one, or a blanket, and a strap or a towel, something that can help you reach further than you might be able to reach. For starters, we're going to go through a quick head-to-toe mobility so that we can warm up the body prior to jumping into core and then the flexibility portion of this video. If you tuned in to yesterday's training session, then you'll see some of the same movements, but this is the practice that I do almost every time before I start a gym workout, strength training session, what have you. We're going to start with the head, and we're going to look left and right. Inhale to lengthen through the spine and exhale to look over the shoulder using the muscles instead of just contorting the spine. And then exhale to release, look over the other shoulder. Do that 2 more times each direction. Move at your own pace and only go as far as you feel comfortable in your body. One more time, if you're following along with my pace. Next, we're going to go down to the shoulders. The first thing I like to do is start with small arm circles. I start out real tiny, going in the forward direction, and I'll slowly make the circles bigger as I try to keep the speed of the circles. As they get bigger, they get a bit slower though. And here I do like to turn my thumbs so they're going down, and then I rotate the hands so the thumbs are coming up as they're behind me. But whatever feels best for you. And then I go the other direction. And I go from big all the way to small. For this one, you might feel a little burn in the shoulders. That's a good indicator that they're getting warmed up properly. And then I like to cross the arms in front of the body. This is sometimes called the Michael Phelps. And then I like to swing the arms in the front of the body. I have a slight bend in my hips and my knees. Great. And then lastly, I like to do some shoulder shrugs. So I'm going to shrug up and then draw the shoulders back and repeat that anywhere from 5 to 10 times, depending on how my shoulders are feeling that day. Remember, this is your practice, so you can do a little bit more, a little bit less of any of these mobility movements. Now I'm going to reverse that movement, so I'm going from back to front. Don't forget to breathe while you're doing these. Shrug it up and release it. Do that on both sides a couple times. And now we're ready to move on to the core, our spinal area, get all of this warmed up. I like to call this the jetpack. So your hands are going to go at this 45-degree angle. You're going to inhale to lengthen through the spine, engage your core. Exhale to twist towards one side. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist a little bit further. And then once you're as far as you can go with your torso, allow the neck to continue to look, and then the eyes. And exhale to release that twist. Inhale and twist the other direction. Here we're focusing on using our abdominal muscles instead of the skeletal structure. Do that anywhere from 3 times to 5 times on each side. We'll do that for 2 more. Last one. Excellent. Next we're going to do some around the world, or some big hip circles. I like to start out to the side, reach my hips back, and then move to the other side and out forward. So I'm really reaching my hips back and front, allowing my upper body to lower wherever it needs. And I'll do this anywhere from 5 to 10 circles on each direction. And I'll switch. That's about 6 on that side. And it's important that we get the same amount on each side, especially for mobility. When it comes to strength training, that can vary if you seem to have a muscle imbalance. Then you'd want to do more strength training on the weaker side. And then once you're up to par on each side, equal in strength, you can go back to working out both the same way. Next we're going to go to the knees. I like to stand hip width apart for this one. Hands will go on the knees. And we're going to allow ourselves to rotate onto the outside and inside of the foot. Drop the knees forward. Rotate on the opposite sides of the feet and then back. And so we're really allowing the knees and the ankles to get a full circle range of motion in a low position. If this bothers your knees, don't go as low and just do what you can. Go very slow, very gentle. I'll do anywhere from 5 to 10 of these on each side. And I'll switch, do about 6 on this side. Arms can go out in front of you as well. Mobility is great for any activity, whether you're active for work, you're a firefighter or a ski patroller. If you're a mom and you have a busy day ahead of you and you just want to feel good overall, this is fantastic to do, and it takes less than 10 minutes. Next, we're going to do ankle and wrist mobility. So we're going to hop onto one foot, see if you can balance yourself out. Lower the hip that is in the air, because when you land you might be like this. Hips are tilted. You can feel your hip bone in the front. So you're going to pull the femur up into the hip socket so you can level out the hips. And then we're going to rotate the ankles and the wrists. Closed fist for this one. And see if you can remember what way you're going with the wrists and the ankles. Anywhere from 8 to 15 circles this side, and then I'll go the opposite direction. Same foot. If you need to focus on something to balance, have your back against the wall, against the chair, or focus on somewhere in front of you. And now we're going to switch by hopping to the other foot. Excellent. Pull that femur up into that hip socket. Now we're going to keep the hands open, and we're going to rotate the wrists and the ankle. Woohoo! Excellent job. Let's switch sides, switch directions. Good. And that is our mobility warm-up. Now we're going to head into core. In this core session, we're going to do 4 different exercises back to back to back to back with a rest at the end. And then we're going to hop into the 4 exercises again. We're going to repeat them all and do that for 3 rounds. The 4 exercises we're going to be doing are V-ups, swimmers, side-to-side leg lifts, and active clamshell. Before we get into the circuit, I'll demo each movement so you know it's coming up. V-ups are when we lay completely flat on the ground to start, and we lift up the arms and the legs at the same time to meet at the top, creating a V with the body. You do not have to hold on to the legs unless you feel like you're going to lose your balance. You can bring your fingers down to tap the ground, or you can just leave them right next to the feet. as you slowly lower back down. We will also be starting on our backs for swimmers. Hands will go above the head, and you're going to reach the opposite hand to the opposite knee, and then switch the motion. Go slow that you can feel the muscles being controlled. And keep the legs and the arms lifted off of the ground the entire move. Next are going to be side to side leg lifts. So again, we will be starting on the ground, completely flat. Legs will be up in the air. You can hang on to the sides of the mat, or if you have something heavy to hang on to, or if you live with someone and they're willing to help you, you can hang on to them. But you're going to lower your legs to one side, and then lift them up, lift the legs up, and lower them to the opposite. So legs come up, you lift your hips up off of the ground, and you lower. So up, down, and up is one full rep. Last but not least, for the core exercises, we're going to come into an active clamshell. So we're going to go on the side of the body, starting on the right or the left, whatever feels more convenient for you. And we're going to kick our legs straight out in front of us and our legs back behind us. So your feet can be a little bit farther away, but flex the feet so that the toes are also pointing forward. And when we lift up, or when we do the clamshell part of this, we're going to lift the top knee up and lower down. Up and down. So you should feel the upper and lower glute activating in this movement. Using our core to stay stable and pressing out of the shoulder so that we're not slouching on it and causing unnecessary pain. So we're going to be going back to back to back to back for all 4 core exercises, starting with V-ups, swimmers, side-to-side leg lifts, and active clamshell on each side. We're going to go for 30 seconds for each one, and then take a 1-minute rest, and then jump into it all over again. Do as much as you can. Of course, take a break when you need to, but try to keep going. It will get difficult. So breathe, have fun, and do your best. That's all we can ever do, right? So we will start with V-ups, laying flat on our backs. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Have quality over quantity. Yeah, less than 10 seconds left. And 30. Now we're going to go right into swimmers. So opposite arm to opposite knee. Similar to a bicycle crunch, but a little bit more stiffen the arms. Just breathe through each movement. In 3, 2, 1, we're going into side-to-side leg lifts. Lower the legs down, lift the hips up, opposite side, and then lift again. You're doing great. 3, 2, 1, and active clamshell. Hop over to the side. When you lift up, that top knee lifts up too. Try to have the hand flat out in front of you. We got 10 seconds left. We're going to roll quickly to the other leg. And switch. However you want to switch.
Try to keep your hips pressing forward. Press up and out of that shoulder. Three, two, one, and we'll rest for 1 full minute. Good work. If you like those 4 exercises, but you want a little bit more transition time, you can always do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. But today, we are just busting them out to warm up the core, get the organs massaged a little bit, so that we can be ready for the flexibility or yoga portion of this training session. We got about 20 seconds left. So we have V-ups, swimmers, side-to-side leg lifts, and active clamshells. We can go ahead, lay on the ground, pop my phone up so I can see it better. We are going in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. It's okay if you come up short on some of these V-ups. This is all just practice. Three, two, one, and swimmers. Opposite knee, opposite arm. Halfway there. Do you feel your lower belly just burning right now? Or is it just me? 2, 1, and leg lifts. Lower to one side, lift the hip up, lower to the other side, lift the hip up. Remember to breathe as you move through each exercise. Three, 2, 1, and active clamshell. This is the one that feels like it's kind of tough to run to. 10 seconds left. Then we'll switch to the other side. 2, 1, and switch. Try to keep your hip, knee in alignment with the front body. So if your knees are really far forward, try to bring them back so that they're in alignment. Three, 2, 1, and rest. We got 1 minute of rest. My mat's getting all crazy on me, moving so fast. But we're on the last round already. Really breathe deeply into the body. In through the nose, out of the mouth. See if you can slow the breath down, even if you're huffing and puffing. Whenever you are huffing and puffing and you get a moment of rest, do whatever you can to slow the breath way down. It will help with your cardiac output, basically. So we're gonna get ready to start going in another 10 seconds with our V-ups. Get ready for these guys in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go. if they get tough, you can bring the knees into the chest. And we're gonna switch to swimmers. Opposite knee, opposite arm. We're halfway there. Three, two, one, and side to side leg lifts. Lower down, lift up, and lower. Five, four, three, two, and one. Active clam show. We're running. We're running. All right, last two exercises. We got this. Doing amazing. Your core might be on fire. So try to bring the glutes into this. Squeeze them as you lift. Really reach that top leg up. And we're gonna switch in 3, 2, 1, and switch sides. Last exercise. Halfway there. Almost done. Three. And done. Excellent job. Take a drink of water and get ready for the rest of this training session, which will now be a little bit slower, a little bit more chill as we get into the deep fascia of the muscle and we gain some stability by stretching. The first stretch that we're going to start with today is a forward fold. We're going to be taking this forward fold into a 2-minute long hold. So start slow and start where you are. So we will inhale the arms up, exhale as we reach the hips back, and let the hands go wherever they feel best. If you're pretty flexible, you might already be able to touch the ground, but if you're new to stretching, you might be here. Start where you are, because it's all the same. It's all perfect. You're going to inhale to lengthen through the legs, through the chest. Exhale to deepen the stretch. Every time you inhale, we're using it to explore space that is within the body. Wherever we may feel sensations in the hamstrings or in the calves, maybe in the shoulders or in the neck. And we're going to go lower and lower if that's available to us with each inhale and exhale. Allow the neck to hang free. Let the upper body become heavy. Tighten the glutes. Broaden the hamstrings apart like an accordion. Reach out through the middle of the foot and up into the calf. Press that calf muscle into the shin. You can pick up the belly or the chest and move it farther down the legs, closer to the ground. Enjoy the sensations. If they're painful in the stretching way, that's fine. But if it's painful in an agonizing way, loosen up and don't go as deep. No need for pain. And on the inhale, the next one you have, begin to slowly come up as you roll from the bottom of the spine up each individual vertebrae with a slight micro bend in the knee. Until you're all the way standing. Take a few deep breaths at the top before we get to the next stretch. The next pose we're going to go into is a high lunge. We're going to start on the right side. So high lunge, we're going to have one foot in front of us, one behind us, a good width apart, spaced out like this. You can see my back leg and my front foot so that you have balance. And you're basically just going to lower so that this front knee is over the front ankle and the back knee is over the back ankle. And then you can start to play with your hips and how low you want to hold this lunge. So we will hold this for 1 minute. As you're here, you can lift up the hip of the back leg and lower the hip of the front leg as if you had a rope or you're pulling that femur into the pelvis, pulling the front knee or that front femur back into the pelvis. Keep the hips neutral. You can feel your hip bones. You can lower that back knee down for a deeper stretch in the quad. Your arms can go up if that helps you stabilize. You can draw the triceps in towards the face, rotate them inward. Inhale and exhale slowly at your own pace. Press through the big toe, the second big toe of the front foot. And on your next inhale, we can come to stand at the top of the mat and lower the arms. Good job. From here, we're going to step our left foot back as we come into Warrior Two. So this front foot is going to be in the center of the mat, or center of our body. And this back foot is going to have the toes facing out away from us and the heel lined up with the arch. And then we're going to begin to bend that front knee, press out of the outside edge of the back foot, rotate the inner thigh upwards, rotate the back inner thigh upwards, away from us. We're going to just hold this for 1 glorious minute. Arms can come up, front arm facing up, palm open, back arm facing down. And you can begin to shift your torso if you feel like this is available to you. As you explore the depth of this front knee, you can wiggle the front foot forward, or you can slide the back foot backwards. Breathe, enjoy the space that you're finding within the body. Reach that front hand over the front leg. Tighten the core. Lengthen the sides of the body as you shift the ribs upwards towards the wall behind you. We're 10 seconds left. You might feel the burn. Go into that burn. Feel it fully. Don't give up on it. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can straighten that front leg out and just begin to wiggle your feet together. We're now going to wiggle our feet back out, farther than hip width distance apart, bringing the heels in closer and the toes outwards. And now you can modify your body position as you go, but we're going to lower down into Malasana, or yogi squat. So maybe your ankles don't have this much flexion or extension, and it's okay if you start up on your toes, or if you start up in a little bit of a higher heel position. But if you can, flat feet. Elbows are going to come to the inside of the knees, hand in the middle of the chest. Shoulders, they're going to roll back, down, away from the ears. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Open up the collarbones across the chest. tuck the tailbone down as if you were pulling your hips upward like a mini thrust. And we're going to stay here for another 30 seconds. We've been holding it for 30 seconds already. So we're on our way to a minute. 1 minute holds are ideal for us to see a difference in muscle recovery and the lengthening of muscles and our ability to misstep or have those moments where we twist in a weird way and our muscles, instead of tearing or straining, they will respond in a healthier way by not having to go under that pain, that tear, because we've worked on flexing them, extending them, finding space in the muscles. And then when you're ready, you can put your hands forward, straighten the legs out, and slowly come back up to stand. Now we're going to come into a left side high lunge. So our left foot is going to be forward, that right foot will be back, and we're again going to bend the front knee, that back knee, so that our knee is stacked over the ankle, back knee is stacked over the ankle, or back hip stacked over the back knee. And then you can explore from here. Will you pull up that back femur into the pelvis? Will you draw that front femur into the pelvis so that your hips are neutral? Will you roll the shoulders down and back away from the ears as you draw the front ribs down so that your torso is neutral? Will you bring the arms up for a tiny back bend in the upper back, upper spine? Reach the thumbs backwards as you draw the triceps in towards the face. We'll be here for another 20 seconds. Inhale and exhale into the body. Send your breath where you're feeling the burn in your leg. See how long you can make your inhales. Maybe pause and then exhale 1 second longer than your inhale. When you're ready, you can begin to straighten out that front leg, the back leg, and bring them back together. We will now come into a warrior two on the left side. So we will return back to that lunge position where the front leg is in the center of the mat or in alignment with our torso. Back leg will be in a position where the toes are facing forward, like our eyeballs are in that direction. And then front heel in alignment with the back arch. And then you can wiggle that front leg forward and drop into that deeper squat. Press out of the outer back side of the foot. Inhale and lift the arms up. And we will hold this bad boy for 1 whole minute. We will feel the burn. It will feel amazing. We're going to breathe so that we can focus on the breath instead of the burn. And we're going to send that breath to wherever that sensation, that feeling, that intensity resides in the body. So like I said, if you want, you can inhale and start to lean the torso forward, drawing or rotating the front ribs upwards as you lean. Drawing or rotating the inner thigh upwards and the back thigh out. Rotate it upwards as well, or away from us. You're almost there. Then you can inhale and come back to a standing position. Now we get to come back to our forward fold position. This time we're going to be in this position for 3 minutes. So move slow, go down at your own pace. This is a little longer of a hold, but it's going to be well worth it for our hamstrings. So we will start by inhaling the arms up. Exhale, forward fold down, and our 3 minutes will begin.
Start where you are. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to lower deeper as you are available to do so. Everything is optional in stretching. You're never going to be forced to go somewhere that you are not ready to go yet. And even if you are a flexible person, maybe you have really tight hamstrings and you aren't gonna get as far as you usually do in the stretch. And that is okay. Typically in a longer hold, you're able to release the tightness within the muscles, and so you will be able to get a little bit deeper than you anticipate or you have gotten prior in practice. Squeeze the glutes, broaden the hamstrings. Allow the head to hang heavy. If you'd like, you can grab onto the back of the legs, or maybe you grab your opposite elbow and you swing left and right. Maybe you put your hands underneath your feet for a little wrist stretch. We have about 20 seconds left. About 2 to 3 more big, long breaths. When you're ready, inhale and slowly come up. Really take your time coming out of the forward fold. Slowly roll up, just like we did for the first one. Let your head be last, very slow, and take a few deep, relaxing breaths.
We'll now go into a downward dog. Begin by reaching the hips back, lower the hands down to the mat, and walk yourself out so that your legs and hands are farther apart. Press through the first finger and the thumb, and then through the shoulders to help reach the hips back. Feel free to walk the dog. Place the feet as far apart or as close as feels good to you. Keep the neck relaxed as you continue to inhale and reach the hips back as you reach the chest towards the thighs. Take about 5 deep
inhales and exhales, finding more space in the body. Have a slight micro bend in the knee and in the elbows so that you're not hyperextending. And on your next exhale, we can lower the knees down to the ground into a child's pose.
We'll be now going into Pigeon Pose. So I highly recommend, if you have tight hips, to grab a pillow or a blanket or a yoga block if you have one. And we're going to start by bringing the left knee in front of us to create a 90-degree angle. And if your hips are tight, you can place the pillow, block, whatever you have, underneath that butt cheek. And we want to try to have our pelvis directly over the ground, not off to the side, or us sitting off to the side. Hands in front of the leg or to the side. And stay here. As you feel more comfortable in this position, as you open up more, you can unflex the foot. Allow yourself to lower the hips down if that is available to you. Keep a micro bend in the elbows if you're holding yourself up. And as we breathe through this movement for the next 2 minutes, we're going to lower over the front knee if that is in your scope for today's session. Remember to inhale and relax all of the muscles within the leg, within the hip. Take as long as you need to move deeper in this pose. This pose is pretty intense for most because our emotions are stored in the hips. And more likely than not, we are not taught how to properly express our emotions. We like to bottle them up. We like to be the tough guy, tough gal. And holding emotion in the body doesn't always result in openness, results in tightness. So move at your own pace, relax deeper and deeper. If you can flex the foot of the front leg that is bent, that will help protect the knee. On your next inhale, you can begin to lift up slowly. And we're going to sit off to the side, come back into a butterfly position, and switch to the other leg being in front. So our right leg now being in front of us. We'll now go into pigeon on the right side. So you can get into it however works best for you. Slowly start to inch that back leg back farther. Try to scoot the front leg as straight across as you can. If you need to, start with the pillow or the block under that front leg buttocks. And we will be in this position for the next 2 minutes. Same idea, go at your own pace. This is your practice. You are where you are. There's no destination in practicing flexibility or yoga. It's literally taking inventory of your tightness, your sensations, how you feel within yourself. And that is why so many people find this practice appealing, because you quiet the chatter of the mind and you can actually get a sense of what you need more of in the practice, after the practice. And living at a slower pace, at a less noisy pace. When you're ready, on the next inhale, you can begin to slowly come up, walk yourself back up, come off of that hip, and come back into a seated position. We're going to come into a seated wide leg stretch. We'll start by going down in the middle. So we inhale up through the body, through the arms. Exhale to lower as we reach our chest, our torso, our belly over the hips. As far as feels good and comfortable and able for us. Keep the toes flexed, pointed back towards the face to help protect the knees. If at any point you want to point them, you sure can, but I feel like this really helps us protect the body. See if you can engage the glutes. See if you can lift your butt cheeks up off the ground. Engage them so that this is an active pose. And continue to see how far forward you can inhale, lift the body, exhale, lower the body deeper in front of you. Again, there's no destination or end goal, so just go wherever feels best. We'll be in this for about 30 more seconds, so a little bit less of a hold in this position. On your next inhale, begin to slide and walk yourself back up, and we will meet in butterfly. Here in butterfly pose, we will put the feet together. Hands can come on the feet, they can come on the knees. You can grab the ankles and press down on the knees to make them open up a little bit further. If you feel like you want to stretch one knee, you can hold that for a little while. And then stretch the other side. Pick whatever feels best for you. if you want to sit up straight, if this is enough tension, or if you want to come forward over the feet. We'll be here for about 45 more seconds. Press the toes into each other if you're able. Allow the shoulders to roll back and down away from the ears. And on your next inhale, lift up. And we are going to meet each other on our backs. We are now going to lay on our backs and have our feet up in the air. This is called Dandasana, or just big toe hold. And if you're unable to hold your toes, you can hold your legs or your thighs, or you can grab a strap, a kitchen towel, a sock. You can put it over the feet, and that can also help you reach all the way if that is what you'd like to do. But we're just going to allow the lactic acid to drain down in the legs, refresh us after a nice long practice. See if you can flatten your back out on the ground instead of lifting up the sacrum. Keep it flat. If it feels good to pull the feet in closer to the body, or if it feels good to just have them be where they are and your arms are down, your call. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds. Slowly lower the legs down back to the earth. We only have 2 more poses that we're going to move through. The next one is Happy Baby. Here you're going to grab the outside of the feet and pull the knees straight down. You can go between having your sacrum or the very bottom of your back lifted, or press down on the floor. You can experiment with keeping the legs straight or bending them. You can rock side to side. Whatever feels best for you in this moment. Whatever you feel like you need. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. And after that last breath, you can let go of the feet and they can rest again. Now you get to draw both knees into the chest for knee to chest pose or Apanasana. And you can rock back and forth. You can hug them into the chest and stay there. Whatever feels best for you. Now is the time to thank yourself for showing up, going through this flexibility and core training. This is great for
anyone who is getting off of the ski hill or had a long day and needs to just unwind, stretch out, earth themselves back down. If you have a high stress job, if you want to keep the kids busy, this is a practice for everybody because there's so many modifications. And now you can take this time to either continue on with your day or stay here for a very short shavasana.
And that's a wrap on day 3 of the 25 days of mindful movement. Thank you so much for showing up for this training session with me, and I hope that you found some value in it. If you did, feel free to share this on your socials, tag whoever you'd like to practice with you, and if you haven't, sign up for the newsletter so you get these sent directly to your inbox, as well as a mindfulness journaling prompt and a hilarious meme, because we all need to laugh just a little more to ring out this 2022 year. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.